Today we're going to begin working on our next reading skill, which is point of view. Point of view is how someone thinks or feels about something. Each of you have a point of view about different foods or restaurants, the ones that you like and the ones you don't. And that's your point of view, almost like having an opinion or a perspective about something. When we read different stories, the narrator who's telling the story also has a point of view about the events that are happening in the story. Let's take a look here on our screen at the read section. In stories, the narrator is the person who tells the story. The narrator also has a point of view, or how he or she thinks or feels about story events. Some narrators are characters in the story. They experience what happens and are called first-person narrators. These are the ones who are actually in the story. They're the characters. Other narrators are not characters in the story. They look in from outside the story. They are called third-person narrators. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at the difference between the first person and the third person. In the first person, the story is told by one of the characters. You're going to see words like I, me, my, we, our, because that character is in the story and experiencing it. Look at the example at the bottom. The crowd cheered as I flew across the finish line. Our team was heading to the finals. That example is from someone who's actually in the story. Third person is when the story is told by the narrator. This person is outside the story. They are not in and experiencing it. This is where we're going to see words like he, him, his, she, her, they, or names of characters, their actual names. Let's look at that example. Charlie walked by his friends as they turned around and started whispering and laughing. So notice we have a name, so we see Charlie, his friends, they turned. This narrator is not actually in this story. We have two texts here, and one is in first person and one is in third person. Let's take a look at this first one. As I walked down the hall, my friends stared at me, but I wasn't at all surprised. I wanted everybody's attention. As I look for some of the key words, I notice I, my, me. These are words that point to a first-person narrator. This is coming from the girl. These are her thoughts and her experience. Let's take a look at our second text. As Martha walked down the hall, her friends stared at her. She wasn't at all surprised. After all, she wanted their attention. The words here are different than the first one. I have Martha, her, she. This is in a third-person text. It's told from someone who's not in the story. It's told outside of the story.